The spotlight continues to shine bright on Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's rookie phenom, but with the brilliance of that spotlight comes the heat of growing criticism. Following the Fever's second straight loss, Clark has become the focal point of discussion, not just for her performances on the court, but for the expectations that have swirled around her since she entered the WNBA. As one of the most hyped rookies in recent memory, Clark's every move is dissected, and after the Fever's latest defeat, the criticism has intensified. The team's recent back-to-back losses have not only raised questions about their overall cohesion, but also placed Clark under a magnifying glass. Is the burden of expectation too heavy? Is she being unfairly singled out? Or is this all part of the growth process for a young star navigating the leap from college legend to professional under scrutiny? High expectations and a harsh reality. From the moment she declared for the WNBA draft, Caitlin Clark was hailed as a generational talent. With her record-breaking performances at Iowa, jaw-dropping range, and charismatic presence, fans and media alike pegged her as a transformative force for the Fever and the league. But the transition from college to pro basketball is not always seamless, even for the most decorated athletes. In college, Clark dominated with the ball in her hands. At Iowa, the offense was tailored around her, allowing her to orchestrate, score, and dazzle freely. In the WNBA, things are different. The defenses are tougher, the physicality is more pronounced, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Every possession matters. And every misstep, especially for a player of Clark's fame, becomes headline news. The Fever's second consecutive loss has added more fuel to a growing narrative, one that questions Clark's readiness, her decision-making, and whether she's capable of lifting this team beyond their struggles. While Clark's stats are far from abysmal, it's the timing of missed shots, turnovers, and perceived lapses in leadership that have critics circling. The team struggles as a whole. It's important to note that the Fever's issues don't rest solely on Clark's shoulders. This is a young team still trying to find its identity. Chemistry takes time. The coaching staff is working with a mix of promising talent and developmental pieces. There's a glaring lack of veteran leadership on the floor, something that often helps rookies ease into the league. The losses the team has suffered haven't been solely due to Clark's performance. Defensive lapses, poor rotations, and inconsistent bench play have all contributed. Still, Clark bears the brunt of the blame, right or wrong, because she is the face of the franchise now. Her presence generates media attention, packed arenas, and national headlines. But it also comes with an expectation to perform and lead immediately, criticism, and social media pressure. After the Fever's latest defeat, the online chatter intensified. Some fans pointed to Clark's turnovers, suggesting she's forcing plays that aren't there. Others criticized her shot selection, arguing that she's trying too hard to recreate her college highlight reel moments. The criticism has not been limited to fans. Former players, analysts, and even talk show hosts have joined the conversation, debating everything from her leadership qualities to her future potential. The reaction on social media has been especially harsh. Every missed shot is clipped and circulated. Every fumbled possession is slowed down and analyzed. While some fans have come to her defense, arguing that she needs time and support, others have been quick to label her as overrated. The polarizing discourse underscores the immense pressure Clark is under, a level of scrutiny rarely seen for a rookie athlete. Clark's response and mental fortitude. Despite the noise, Caitlin Clark has remained composed. In post-game interviews, she has taken responsibility for her mistakes, acknowledged her learning curve, and reiterated her commitment to improvement. Her responses have been measured, mature, and reflective of someone aware of the gravity of her role. But even with that composure, the mental toll is something that cannot be ignored. The weight of an entire franchise's hopes, combined with the media spotlight and expectations from fans, can be overwhelming. For any rookie, adjusting to the WNBA is challenging. For someone like Clark, Thrust into stardom from day one, it's exponentially more difficult. There's also the question of how the organization supports her through this phase. Ensuring that Clark has the mental health resources, veteran mentorship, and tactical support to thrive is critical. The development of a franchise player doesn't just happen on the court. It requires infrastructure, guidance, and patience. Comparing rookie seasons, the double standard. One of the most intriguing parts of the current criticism is the double standard often at play. Many greats, both male and female, struggled during their first professional season. Some took years to become consistent contributors. Yet, Clark's path is expected to be meteoric. Comparisons are often made to legends of the past, but rarely with full context. Few rookies, especially in the WNBA, have entered the league with as much fanfare as Clark. That visibility is a double-edged sword. While it has elevated the profile of the league and brought in new fans, it has also set an incredibly high bar that few, if any, could meet immediately. The reality is that development isn't linear. There will be ups and downs. What matters more is how Clark adapts, learns, and evolves as a player. The next few months will be critical not just in terms of wins and losses, but in how she handles adversity, coaching dynamics, and strategic adjustments. Another layer to the situation is the coaching dynamic within the Fever. As the team struggles, questions have arisen about how Clark is being utilized. Is she being put in positions to succeed? Are plays being drawn to highlight her strengths, or is she being asked to adjust to a system that doesn't complement her natural game? In college, Clark thrived in transition, in pick-and-roll situations, and with freedom to create off the dribble. If those same opportunities aren't being created at the professional level, then some of the blame must fall on the coaching staff. Finding the right balance between allowing her to grow organically and protecting her from unnecessary criticism is key. Strategically, the team needs to make adjustments. If defenses are keying in on Clark, then it's on the coaching staff to find ways to relieve that pressure, whether it's through better off-ball movement, screening, or involving other scorers to balance the floor. The WNBA is too competitive for one player to carry an entire team. Clark needs help, and the system must evolve accordingly. The bigger picture: growth, legacy, and impact. While the last two losses sting for Clark and the Fever, they are just chapters in a much larger story. The adversity she faces now could very well be the catalyst for future greatness. Many athletes have endured rough starts only to rise above and etch their names in history. The Fever season is far from over. And even if the wins don't start piling up immediately, there's value in the grind. Clark is learning. The team is building. And the fans, those who see the long-term vision, are still rallying behind her. Off the court, Clark continues to impact the game positively. Ticket sales are up. Merchandise is flying off shelves. Young fans are tuning into games in record numbers. She's already helped elevate the visibility of women's basketball to new heights, and that legacy is not dependent on her rookie stat line. The road ahead. What happens next will determine how this chapter of Caitlin Clark's career is ultimately remembered. Will she silence the critics with a breakout game? Will the team rally together and string together a winning streak? Or will the growing pains continue with more questions raised than answered? Regardless, Clark's journey is one that fans will continue to follow closely. The scrutiny may be intense, but so is the support. And for every critic, there are thousands of young fans looking up to her, believing in her potential, and learning that greatness often takes time. The second straight loss for the Indiana Fever has indeed turned up the heat. But pressure has a way of forging diamonds. And if Caitlin Clark's past is any indication, she's not one to shy away from a challenge. As the season progresses, expect more debates, more passionate reactions, and more learning moments. But most importantly, expect Caitlin Clark to keep fighting, because that's what stars do. They weather storms, grow from them, and emerge stronger. And this, perhaps, is just the beginning of that transformation. Fans concerned for Caitlin Clark after on-court decision in Fever Ace's game. Caitlin Clark, one of the most talked about names in the WNBA this season, is once again at the center of public debate, this time not for her brilliant scoring, record-setting stats, or dazzling passes, but for a single on-court decision that has left fans scratching their heads and voicing their concern. The Indiana Fever's matchup against the Las Vegas Aces, a highly anticipated game with playoff implications and superstar matchups, delivered drama not just in the final score, but also in a critical moment involving Clark that could reshape how fans and analysts view her development as a rookie in the league. As the Fever struggled to maintain momentum against the reigning champion Aces, a particular moment in the fourth quarter stood out. With the Fever trailing and precious seconds ticking off the clock, Clark had the ball in her hands, an all-too-familiar sight for fans who've watched her take command in late-game situations during her collegiate career at Iowa. But instead of opting for her usual aggressiveness, the rookie made a puzzling decision that changed the rhythm of the game and, for some, signaled possible internal hesitation or fatigue. The possession started promisingly. Clark used a screen to shake free from a double team, surveyed the court with her signature court vision, and had an opening for either a deep three or a drive to the basket. But instead of attacking or kicking it out to an open teammate, she pulled the ball back, reset the offense, and allowed the Aces to recover defensively. Within seconds, the shot clock was down to its final ticks. Clark then forced a contested shot from beyond the arc that hit the rim and bounced out, surrendering yet another opportunity in what had become a frustrating offensive drought for Indiana. That single sequence sent ripples through the WNBA fanbase. Social media erupted almost instantly, with fans dissecting every second of the play. Was it a rookie mistake? Was she told to reset by the coaching staff? Was she mentally overwhelmed by the pace and physicality of the Aces' defense? Or perhaps, was fatigue setting in, the kind that accumulates over grueling back-to-back games and the weight of being the centerpiece of a rebuilding franchise? Clark, known for her fierce competitiveness and high basketball IQ, has made a career of taking and making difficult shots. In college, she was praised for her fearlessness. Now, just weeks into her professional journey, this moment, where she appeared to second-guess her instincts, has raised alarm bells for a fan base that has come to expect the miraculous from her every night. A mounting pressure on a young star. Since entering the WNBA, Clark has carried the burden of being not just the face of the Indiana Fever, but also a key figure in the league's new wave of marketable stars. Every arena she plays in is packed. Every game she participates in is dissected, televised, and discussed at length by pundits, fans, and critics alike. The expectations are enormous, and the margin for error is shrinking. This game against the Aces, an elite, veteran-laden team, was always going to be a challenge. The Aces brought physicality, experience, and intensity. Yet Clark still managed to contribute across the board, scoring, assisting, and rebounding. But the expectations have evolved. It's no longer just about playing well, it's about being flawless. And one single possession, as it turned out, was enough to ignite debates about her readiness, confidence, and long-term potential. Fans who once viewed her as unshakable are beginning to ask questions. Is Clark struggling with the transition to the WNBA's faster pace and more physical defenders? Is the offensive system in Indiana stifling her creativity? Or is this simply a case of a young player adapting in real time to one of the toughest leagues in the world? The coaching dilemma. Another layer to the situation is the role of the coaching staff. Some fans pointed out that during the key moment, there was little direction from the bench. It raised questions about whether the coaching staff is effectively supporting Clark in high-pressure situations. Critics argue that Clark is being asked to do too much, too soon. Others say she should be given more freedom to make decisions on the fly, the same way she thrived in college. As one viewer posted online, "You don't bring in Caitlin Clark to play it safe. You bring her in to light the court on fire." What happened in that play was not Caitlin. That was hesitation forced by poor structure. Others defended the coaching decision, suggesting that Clark, may have been instructed to slow the game down and manage the clock wisely. After all, taking care of the ball and executing the offense late in games is a priority for any team. But with Clark's natural inclination toward aggressive play, the restraint she showed felt uncharacteristic, and that's exactly what's fueling the concern. A mental toll building up? Another theory being floated around is that Clark may be experiencing a mental toll, understandable given the whirlwind of media attention, the constant spotlight, and the heavy burden of expectations. From being the face of college basketball to transitioning into a league with more seasoned and physical athletes, it's a lot for any player to handle. There's a growing sentiment among fans that Clark may benefit from rest, not just physically, but mentally. A reset. A chance to recalibrate and return to playing the kind of fearless basketball that made her a household name. Some have even called for the team to consider rotating her minutes more strategically, giving her time to recharge while still contributing meaningfully. Yet knowing Clark's drive, that kind of scaled-back approach might not sit well with her. She's never been one to back down from a challenge. Even after tough losses, she's often the last player off the court, always looking to improve, always trying to figure out how to be better the next time. A WNBA rite of passage. The truth is, Clark is facing what every rookie, no matter how talented, must eventually confront: adversity. The WNBA is unforgiving. Even the best players stumble. What matters is how they respond. For many seasoned observers, Clark's recent decision isn't a cause for panic, but a natural part of her evolution. These growing pains are not signs of failure, but milestones in the making of a champion. They argue that what looks like hesitation now may, months or years down the line, become the very catalyst for growth that transforms her into a true pro. Veteran players have spoken in the past about their own missteps early in their careers. Many believe that Clark, with her work ethic and passion, will learn from these moments and come back stronger. The bigger picture: a team in transition. While much of the spotlight is on Clark, the larger picture involves the entire Indiana Fever team, which is still learning how to function as a cohesive unit. Chemistry takes time, and right now, the Fever are trying to find a rhythm where Clark can thrive alongside other young and developing talents. Some fans feel the team still lacks a strong secondary playmaker who can take pressure off Clark in clutch moments. Without that support, every possession feels like it has to go through her, and that predictability may be part of what caused the breakdown in that late-game sequence. Until the roster is balanced with more veteran leadership or consistent contributors, these struggles may continue. And Clark, for all her talent, cannot carry the entire weight of a franchise night after night without occasional missteps. Hope on the horizon. Despite the concern, fans remain hopeful. They know Clark is a special talent, someone who, even in moments of uncertainty, still draws defenders, creates opportunities, and makes plays others can't. They've seen enough flashes to know her ceiling is sky-high. Many believe this is just a temporary dip, a learning moment rather than a warning sign. With time, support, and continued growth, Clark is expected to bounce back in a big way. But the Fever's job now is to ensure she has the tools and freedom to do that. For now, fans watch closely, hoping the next game brings not just a win but a reminder of the bold, instinctive Caitlin Clark they fell in love with. And knowing her track record, it's probably just around the corner. Until then, this one moment, one possession, one decision will linger. Not as a failure, but as the latest chapter in a story that's far from over.